Angry Guy here, and this video will probably be a little bit shorter. I wanted to talk about this topic I've been thinking about for a while, which is regarding the incels. You are not an incel, you're just a loser. Like, share, and subscribe if you want more great Angry Guy content, and head over to patreon.com/Angry Guy for exclusive videos and early release videos, ad free. How awesome is that? So, I want to talk a little bit about this concept I've been thinking about for a while. You're not an incel, you're a loser. This is not directed towards you, my typical viewer, but towards guys who tend to believe that they are actually incels. The word incel is a made up word. It was actually developed by a woman back in the 90s. It stands for involuntary celibate, guys who believe that women, don't want to sleep with them and don't want to have anything to do with them. And, a lot of these a lot of these guys have ultimately made some really terrible decisions because of the way they interpreted society. But really, a lot of guys go through life having a hard time when it comes to relationships and dating. And specifically in the West, it's hard for guys who are handsome, guys who are tall, guys who have make over $100,000 a year. These guys are having trouble finding wives and and having find even girlfriends, women that are worth being in relationships in the West. The West has become a very toxic place. At the same time, a lot of the guys who are calling themselves incels, these guys are defeatist. They've decided that they don't want to work on themselves. They don't want to go to the gym. They don't want to work on their finances. They don't even want to go out and talk to people. And don't get me wrong, I have social anxiety disorder. I have generalized anxiety disorder, and I'm an extrovert. It's the worst combination in the world. And I still have to find ways to put myself out there to talk to others. And there are people I'll say like, "Hey, I'm shy," and they're like, "No, you're not." And I am. I really am. And then like if I suddenly clamp, they think I'm being an asshole because I can literally go from being very talk chatty to like just walking away. And it's like, huh, this guy's a jerk. No, it's my anxiety. But that's and you guys can hear me talk here. Like you can tell I'm a fucking extrovert. But it's hard. And a lot of these guys, they don't want to work on themselves. They don't want to put themselves out there. They don't want to be rejected, or they don't want to handle rejection whatsoever. There are a lot of men who, they're not good looking men. They're not particularly wealthy, but they don't call themselves incels. They find a way to get what they want. If they can't find happiness in the US, they go overseas, or they find something, or they focus on a passion. But you don't go around calling yourself an incel. Everybody has trouble when it comes to dating, except for like the top 10% of guys. And even the top 10% of guys are getting pissed off with the bullshit that's happening in the West. There's no it's not a shame to be a loser, but it's a shame to stay a loser. Like a lot of these guys are losers. Like you're not working on yourself, you're not working on your finances. You're just sitting there and wallowing in your own misery and your own despair. And like how bad is your life really? Like are you in a crippling amount of debt? Debt, like are you like a couple $100,000 in debt? Because there's a lot of people who are a couple $100,000 in debt and they're not acting like you. Have you had like a did you have your past relationships been so bad that now you're paying child support for multiple kids for the next 20 years or 20 plus years? I don't think so. I mean, really, how bad is it? But a lot of these guys cannot see past their own self pity and self wallowing because one, they don't want to put in the hard work on themselves. Like seriously, you look at the kinds of girls that they want to date, and then ask yourself, are you even equal to this girl? This is a girl who goes to the gym and works out. Do you go to the gym and work out? Work out? No. Does she has a job? Do you have a job? No. Are you not making? You're not even making the same amount of money that she is. A woman typically wants a guy better than herself. I mean, do you have a car? She has her own car. Do you have a car? No. And back here are the things that women wanted back in the day. This is what women used to ask for. They would say that the guy has to have a car, he has to have a job, and he has to have a cell phone. All right. These are the three things that women used to ask for back towards the late 90s, early 2000s, before things became absolutely insane. He needs to have a cell phone so she could call him and reach him whenever she wanted to. He needed to have a car so that he could pick her up and because she wasn't getting on the bus, right? He needed to have a car and he needed to have a job. So he always had money in his pocket so they could go out. He could pay for things. He could buy her things, and and he can help her out when she needed her phone bill paid. Back in the old days, you could pay a girl's phone bill and she would love you a long time. All right, you pay a girl's phone bill, she'd be happy with you. I mean, nowadays it's like you start at rent. Like you start at rent. Phone bill low. You start at rent and you work your way up from there. But it was different back then. But I mean, seriously, you really should be focusing on those things. Like, do you have a car? No, work on that. You know what I mean? And you don't need to have an expensive car. Shouldn't go around wasting money you don't have. But do you have a car? No, work on that. Do you have a job? Okay, well, how much money are you making? If you're making really shit money, then get your money up and then focus on that. If you're making $25 an hour, that's $50,000 a year. That's not bad money. Save that, invest that, and use that as a starting point. I mean, you could work for Amazon. You could work for Amazon drop shipping. Fulfillment, like just picking up package and dropping them off. And people make between $17 and $20 an hour doing that. That's not bad. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this. If you agree that they're not incels, they're just losers. Let me know what you think in the comments. We'll talk more about this. And also, if you want to buy an exclusive content, just head over to my Patreon, patreon.com/angryguy, and let me know what you think. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget subscribing. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA or death. And cheers.